Lane, what inspired you to write a line of kids' books that are based on hunting and the outdoors?
Well, that's a question I get asked quite a bit, and it's kind of what I tell people is the perfect storm. When it really came about was I was teaching 4th grade, and I had one of my students say, "Mr. Walker, you do a lot of writing. Why don't you write a hunting book for kids?" And at the time, I was writing for hunting magazines and different organizations, and I thought, wow, you know, there's really not a lot of hunting books for kids. And personally, I grew up in the outdoors. My dad was a taxidermist, and I loved to spend the fall and the spring in the woods. And I really started to look, and there wasn't anything for kids that wanted a really good chapter book of a hunting adventure. And I thought that was a void I could fill. And the journey really started for me when I was in college about 13 years ago. I worked at a newspaper, and I got paid to write about sports, and I thought that was the greatest thing. So I really enjoyed the writing process. And after that idea came about, I thought, well, let's combine two things I love. I was already writing for hunting magazines, and I thought, well, what if there was a chapter book for kids? What if there was something they could read that not only would teach them a good moral, take them on a hunting adventure, but it also give them a reason to be outside, to be out in the woods. So that's how the brainchild of the Hometown Hunters collection started.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, just get kids involved in our heritage and hunting and stuff like that, because a lot of kids don't have that kind of opportunity.
Well, you're slowly starting to see Facebook, all the great social media things are great if kids still have the opportunity to go outside. And a lot of kids, where I live, a lot of kids hunt, but a lot of kids across the state aren't hunting like they used to. So I really wanted it to be something that would get kids back with their grandparents, their aunts and uncles, anybody that hunted, their neighbor. It's to bring families back together and get them in the woods. That was really the start of it.
What can readers expect when they read a Hometown Hunters book?
Well, this is one of the most exciting parts for me. Being a principal now and a former teacher, I have read a lot of kids' books. And especially boys want adventure. They want a place that they can go when they read a book. If a book is boring, kids are not going to read it. A Hometown Hunters collection book isn't boring. People that read them love them, and it takes them on an adventure, and it takes them in the woods, and it takes them out on the lake, and it takes them in different places, and it provides adventure. But each thing, something I always try to concentrate every book on is a moral. I want them to learn something from a book. Kids are learning from everything they see on TV, radio, from people they meet. So when they read a Hometown Hunters collection book, they're going to learn something at the end of it about themselves, about how to treat people, about something that I feel is important in the world. But they're also going to get a lot of hunting in it too.
And how has the response been so far?
That's the most amazing part for me, because when I had this great idea that I thought was a great idea, I thought people would like it. I thought kids would like it. My whole life's been dedicated to kids and hunting, and I bought 250 the first book, and within 2 days had to order 1,000 more. So I knew right away that I was onto something. That spring, the Ghost Buck, The Legend of the Ghost Buck, is the first book in the series, and that fall and winter it sold really well. And I released The Hunt for Scarface in the spring. And then in the following fall was Terror on Deadwood Lake. In all, we've sold probably close to 9,000 books. And the real exciting thing for me is in August, I signed a 10-book publishing contract with a company in Alabama called Evergreen Press. And they are helping me publish the book, market the book. We're trying to get into some big retail places. My whole main goal for the book was to get it in kids' hands, to get them out in the woods, to get them with their families. The greatest thing that has been a repercussion from the books is when a kid runs up and says, "I love that book about the bear. I love the ghost buck. I have a ghost buck." You know, I meet kids of all ages, and they all relate to the books. And I've had a lot of kids that said, "I've never hunted, but now I'm going to try to go hunting. I'm going to get a bow. My uncle hunts. I'm going to talk to him." So it's been phenomenal. I've been able to hunt on TV a couple times, which is really cool. I've met some amazing people. The books have also opened up an avenue that I love, is public speaking. I speak at wild game dinners, schools, all kinds of places across the state, and I've got to meet some amazing people. So the first book, The Legend of the Ghost Buck, was kind of like a key to start the whole thing. And now it's just kind of snowballing into this kind of side thing that I do, and I love it. I get to meet so many people, and I get to get kids excited about hunting. What's better than that?
So Lane, what kind of unique things have you experienced since becoming an author?
Well, the funny thing about being an author is when you go places that, like for instance, if I get brought in to speak at a wild game dinner, a lot of the kids have already read the books. So sometimes I'll go in, and like I told you, I have a baby face, so I'll go in and I'll stand off to the back. And it's amazing when people find out that I wrote the books, the response I get. Kids come up and ask tons of questions, adults do. I've got to meet kids that, one of the kids that I've been working with is a kid that's fighting cancer, and he loves the books, and I got to include him in one of the books that he doesn't even know about yet. It's coming up. And I love to inspire kids. That's why I became a principal. I want to see kids have hope, have inspiration, believe in themselves. being an author just kind of gives you a way in. They think you're cool. Yeah. So once they know that, then they'll listen, and I have a pretty cool speech that I go through with them, and I get to be a part of their lives. Without the books, I couldn't do that. Yeah. So for me, I get to be included in the outdoors. I get to be included in kids' lives and build families. I get emails all the time. I've had people as old as 83 years old read the book and love them. Lots of times parents or grandparents will buy the books, and they'll go home from a show, and 2 days later I'll get an email saying, I started with the first chapter. I couldn't put that book down. I loved it. Yeah. So I say it's a kid's book, but it's a book for all ages, for people that love the outdoors, that love hunting, and even some that don't. I've had people that don't have any connection to hunting or the outdoors at all pick up the book and send me an email and say, wow, I really love this book. I see hunting a little different than I did before. And that's big for me, because a lot of people, unless you grow up around hunting, you have a different perception of why people hunt and what it is. And it's really not what you see on TV. It's really family, it's morals, it's traditions, it's that passion for being in the woods. And for me, the hardest thing for me is sitting at a desk the first week in November, knowing the rut's on, seeing all the leaves fall, my mind's just wandering. I want to be out there. It's something that I love. So getting to combine those loves and something I love to do with writing, it's just been a blessing.
So where can people go to connect with you and learn more about your books?
Well, social media is a great agent. We have a Facebook page. It's Hometown-Hunters, and we have a lot of fans on Facebook. We do giveaways. We give away books. We give away T-shirts. We release the new covers of the books, which we have 2 new books coming out this fall of 2014. And I try to write 2 books a year, so people will really want to connect with us on Facebook. We also have a website that's pretty thorough at www.hometown-hunters.com. There's a great video. There's all kinds of great things on there. So I'm pretty accessible. And I tell every kid, my email's in every book, and if they email me, I will always email them back. I love to hear their hunting stories. I love to hear what they loved about the books, what they're excited about. So if they email me, I'll always email them back, and I think that's really important.
Yeah. So Lane, what's your hunting background? What role has hunting played in your life?
Well, I have a unique background. When I was growing up, my dad was a taxidermist, and our house was filled with animals all the time. People would come from all over. My dad is about as extreme hunter as you can get. He's been all over. Last year he shot a brown bear in Alaska, and he shot caribou, elk. He's been all over hunting. So growing up, I was exposed to it at a very early age. He also realized right away, having 2 boys, and he wanted to spend time with them, that the outdoors was a perfect place to do that. So he'd take us squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting, fishing. If we had time on the weekends, we were hunting or fishing with our dad. And he used that as a great bonding experience, a great way to teach us things. So I always feel like I kind of owe the outdoors something back. It provided me something that I could do with my dad and my brother. We still do it together. We don't golf. We don't do it. Our family, we hunt. That's what we do. We hunt and fish. So the outdoors is kind of given to me, so I feel like I need to give back to it. Maybe there's a kid that doesn't have a father that hunts, but they have an uncle, and they read a book and they start asking questions and gets them in the outdoors. So it means so much more to me than just going out and trying to shoot a big buck. I believe you can learn a lot from spending time with each other. I learned a lot of my lessons about how to grow up from the outdoors from my dad, and it really gave us a great way to talk and just spend time together. It gave us something to do. What I see is a lot of father sons, a lot of dads really don't know what to do with their kids anymore. Kids get bored really easy. And for us, we found a lot of adventure in the outdoors, and it was something that we really fell in love with, and it was a great way to spend time with my dad.
So Lane, it's been really a pleasure having you here in Studio 1. We really enjoy the series, and we're looking forward to the new books coming out. And folks, if you want to learn more about Lane and see about his Hometown Hunter series, check him out at Hometown Hunters online today.
This has been a presentation of BowHunterPlanet.com. Join the hunt.